Yeah, I will give them, as what I said, we will still use the place value chart. And then, thank you for that, the place value chips. I will be using that.
Yeah,
So
you can.
for, yeah, so for them to, as what I mentioned a while ago, that we are confused of the standard or the NBT one, A1, the 10 times, whatever the digit is given, and it's 10 times greater than the next yeah, digit or place.
Have you created any anchors to for students to refer back to?
I will name.
What about the ones that EBR has already provided? You have those already?
I didn't see it yet.
So that means we have to go and just make sure that you have the correct anchor charts.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So when the kids see this in class, they can have a reference to it. So you have to make sure that the anchor chart is there.
So on the EBR website, EBR Math Department has a website with EBR Math anchors for fourth grade. And they're by module. So module 1, there's your anchor chart right there. For 10 times as much with the place value chart. That's a visual for the students. For multiplication and division. Rounding, which is your lesson today.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. That would be very helpful.
So I'll get those 3 made for you so they'll have to refer back to, but make sure you're using them for teaching as well. So they can see the place value chart visually as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And it goes from 1s all the way up to millions.
Millions.
All right, Ms. Corsino, let's go to, so we have a few students that are performing at the mastery level, Deontay, Amaya, Kimaya, and Marlon. They are performing at mastery already.
Yes.
So what are the activities that you're going to use to enhance them?
We are still using the Dreambox,
Mm-hmm.
and we are also using the, I have it here. Here. Yeah, we still have to, of course, do the workstations.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I also allow them collaboration within the whole group instruction, like when they are doing the application problem. And sometimes we have an activity that they can do by partner.
All right, go back to your item analysis. But before we even go into that, I just want to make sure that your tiers of students have the materials that they need. So Ms. Dickerson is going to give you the place value counters, and you
That's for
also
the tier.
have, that's for
Tier 3.
that's for tier 3, and then we also have the place value
That will
10
be for
times
tier
sheet,
1 and tier 2.
and this will be for tier 1 and tier
Okay.
1 and 2
I
students.
don't know if 3 quite ready for that yet. They have to get the understanding of what was on the place value chart first before they can do that.
All right, so looking at your item analysis, we see that most of the students, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Corsino.
Oh, most of the students, they got the
Number 1, wrong.
question 1 is, can I have this here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here is the reflection of that item analysis. So question 15, 14, and 1. These are the 3 standards or questions that the students shows difficulties.
And you see number 14 and 15?
Yes, ma'am.
The activity that I just gave you, that place value with 10 times as much, that would directly address number
Right.
14 and 15.
Yes.
Now, number 1, for them to get number 1 right, it's actually already lined up by place value. So they just need to start comparing from the largest value, from the largest place value, from the 1,000.
Yes.
So they just need more practice with that table.
Yes, ma'am.
And
So
I know Eureka had tables in the lesson. I think lesson 6, lesson 5, I forgot what lesson it was. And it was on the exit ticket. I think it was lesson 6 that we did yesterday.
yes.
So we see questions, so you recognize that they missed questions 1, 14, and 15. Now, let's go back to your slide number 5. 5. Mm-hmm. So what I want us to do is, it says what observations can be made about the students' work from each group. Tell me, what did you notice about the students that had a weak performance? What was common among those students? What were they not able to do?
Yeah, so the weak students, this is what I observed since at the beginning of the school year. The students display limited understanding of the concept due to concern with focusing. And also, they need one-on-one instruction and repeated directions, and they need use manipulatives for greater understanding.
Okay, so when you say, I see some keywords concerned with focusing, repeated directions, manipulatives. That sounds like accommodations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are we saying that the weaker students, these are students that we're tracking? Okay, let's, do these students already have accommodations?
Let me go back to.
No, let's not go into, we're not gonna dig deep into that.
All right.
But that's a question I want you to ask yourself. The students that are at weak performance, do they already have accommodations?
Oh, I know one of them is with Miss Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
but she's still working with them. Yeah, the paperwork side.
And then the second thing, if they do not have accommodations, you need to make sure that you are, now we need to start the process.
Yes.
So we've been in school, this is week 3, we're going, next week is week 4. We need to start that process of the interventions. Start the process, because the quicker we can get the data in, we can see whether or not, if what we're showing, if what you're seeing here for your weaker performing students, I'm looking at it, that's stuff that you would check off for accommodations. If they don't have them, we need to make sure that they have them
Yes.
in an adequate amount of time. Okay, so let's go to our moderate students. What do we see that's common with the students that almost got it but didn't?
Yes, I see that they need consistent practice of the skills learned. As what I mentioned, we are using the dream box every day, 15 minutes, and also the skills that we learned for the previous days, I put it in their workstation. So in that way, they can still continue to practice their skills.
Mm-hmm.
And also as collaboration, when we are doing the application problem, since application problem is normally is part of it is review part of the lesson, and part of it is the introduction for the new lesson. So I give them the opportunity to collaborate to solve together. So for the strong students, this is I just analyzed this from the result. I discovered that they need to write the number in standard form if it is written in different forms to compare. So just like it is.
So are you saying that's what they are doing, or that's what you're saying they need to do?
They need to do.
So this is not what they are already doing when the number is in standard form and expanded form. Are they writing them both in the same form so that they can compare them?
Yes, ma'am, because the given test here, it's on the.
Right. So you think that's what they are doing, or they just need to do?
They are doing, and they need to continue that.
Okay, so they are already doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
All right, yeah.
Okay, but you are right. That's how they show comparisons. They
Yes,
show them in
ma'am.
2 different forms.
Yeah, because sometimes if as what I've said, if it's written in word form and they are comparing with
Expanded.
so they should have to change that in the same form,
Yes,
like
ma'am.
standard form. So in that way, they can see exactly the difference.
Number 4, part B.
Yes.
When you say time conscious, what do you mean by time conscious?
Oh, time conscious. Because this is the first time for them to use the
Chromebook?
Chromebook, and some of them are. If we can go back, some of these students' work, some of them they didn't finish. They did not finish number 13, 14, 15.
So the strongest students did finish.
They should have
Oh,
to. Yeah, I told them that it should be only.
So they didn't take this on paper. They took it in Scholastic.
They took it in Interscholastic, but I just photocopied this.
Was scratch paper provided?
I provide them at the beginning, and then they put it in here because some of them, it's hard for them to type. It takes too long for them. So I said, okay, we can do it first here. Maybe this first 2 weeks, and then they just transferred it.
So after they struggled on the Chromebook, you gave them a paper copy of the test?
They got the paper copy first,
Okay.
and then they transferred
The
it.
transfer.
Okay.
Yes, but I told them that they should have to be
Yeah, because they're coming from third grade. They didn't take
Yeah,
their
they
assessment
took
online.
on
So
paper.
I would agree to start with a paper
Yes,
test first,
ma'am.
and you can let them transfer it after they've done it on
Yes,
paper.
ma'am. And at the same time, they are annotating as well.
Good job.
Yes, ma'am.
And the assessment looks really good. Can you share this with me, please?
Yes, yes.
I have one question. You said that they took the test online and that the weaker students were not time conscious. Did those weaker students get extended time?
I give them because I have the list already, given from by Ms.
She knows
Thomas
who
and
has
yeah.
come.
Yes.
So I pull them and I give them extended.
Okay, so everybody with extended time, they finished the test.
Yeah,
So even with,
some of them.
so even with the extended time, they still were not able to finish.
Yes.
And this only
Can we,
15.
can we say that the students, okay, was it any students that could have done better had they had more time?
I think so.
So you think that if they would have had more time, they could have done better?
Yes, ma'am.
So that might be one of the, you may need to add that to the weaker students, is that they just need more time.
Yes, ma'am.
Once again, we're looking at,
Right.
that's an accommodation,
So I
having
have-
that extra time.
Because
Yeah.
on the leaf, they have as long as they need.
Yeah,
They
so I
have-
have a question for the
Mhm.
students with accommodations. Do I have to extend, shall we say, I extend them already 30 minutes or, so they are not still done. Can I extend the next day until they finish?
You can, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And you can send the test with Ms. Thomas. And
Oh,
she can
yes,
finish
yes.
it with them
Yes.
as well.
Okay, yes, yeah, I forgot that.
Just make sure you utilize Ms. Thomas. Ms. Thomas is a resource. She's supposed to support you with those students, especially if they're her students. Now, if it's students that do not have any accommodations, we have to start the tracking to say, in
Yes.
order for the student to be successful, I had to go back, they needed extended time. I had to give them some manipulatives. I had to repeat the directions. I had to modify the test. You have to document everything that you're doing.
And you
All
can
right.
just write it on the test. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You just write it and sign it, or initial what you had to do.
Oh,
Do we
Nothing
still
fancy.
have the stickers?
You have to ask Ms.
I'm
Carmouche.
sorry, I'll ask Ms. Carmouche to make sure that we had accommodation
Yes.
stickers, and anytime you gave accommodations, you would just put the sticker on it and you would check the things that you did, so that when we do come up for the SBLC, you have those papers, you have the stickers to say, this is what I've been doing for the last 5 to 6 weeks. This is the accommodations I've been giving him. If I don't have the accommodations, this is what they would make. So we just need to make sure that that's done. All right, and let's go to your reflections and moving forward. So we talked about questions 1, 14, and 15 with the place value, and Ms. Dickerson has gone over the activities that you're gonna use in the different tiers.
yes.
What can be done to help the entire class perform better on the standard?
So, since this question 14 and 15, it's I have it. Where is it? I wrote it here. For question 15, there were 20 students took the test. No, 24, but 20 of them answered, and 4 of them did not. Leave it blank. So 19 of
Miss
them.
Erica, come to the office, please.
19 of them was incorrect.
Okay.
For question 15 and 14, 2 of them was incorrect. So I will reteach. I will reteach. That's a skill.
Reteach in small group.
Yes, ma'am.
Small group.
In small
You
group.
can write a number on the board, 48,673. I want you to write a number that has an 8 that is 10 times greater than my 8. So you can just practice that daily, whole group, but you can also bring that to small group and do about 5 or 6 and then give them a little small exit ticket so they can write me a number that has a 6 that's 10 times greater than the 6 in 48,673.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and still, I will include that in my small group and in workstation at the same time.
And so when you do go back and reteach, what is the evidence to show that those students, after the reteaching, what is the evidence to show that they understand this standard? What shows that they're mastering? What's the evidence?
I will give them a short, maybe as what she mentioned, exit ticket. I will create my own based from their level, and I will give them that simple test, paper based, so I can at least I can see, if they need still to continue, need me to continue to do that for my small group.
And you know how you used to put your review questions on your next CFA?
Yes, ma'am.
Continue to put just one or two of that address that standard on your next CFA, so they'll see more practice, and you'll
Yes.
see if they master that standard.
Oh, yes, ma'am, for the next, quiz or
Yeah.
test, yes.
And then overall, Ms. Corsino, what's working? What strategies are working best with this particular standard? What's the strategy that works best?
Oh, okay. Oh, I put here the ABC order for the
What is that?
ABC. I just like ABC order for math. Like I introduced to them, like when you have 1,235,000, then compared to, shall we say, 2,568. So we, either way they can begin from the, no, they have to begin from the larger unit. So for example, 1,265,000, something like that, and then 1,200,466. So they should have to begin circling. They circle the first digit, the largest digit, if it's the same, 1,000,000, so they are the same.
Right.
The next, like 100,000 is two, the same. So move to the next until they find out
What
which
the
one,
digits differ.
yeah, which place has the greater
So
value.
that's called the ABC order strategy?
I just
Okay, I didn't know.
I
what
just
that was.
created it for them to
Alright.
easily remember.
So that strategy, you named it that for them to remember,
To remember, yes.
Okay.
but it may be called something else.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, of course, continue to use the place value chart and the place value list.
Yeah, the one I gave you that's up to millions.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, the place value chart.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can put that one in a sheet protector, so
Yes,
they can write them.
Yes, ma'am. I do have shipped.
All right, so we're reaching up to the 9 o'clock mark, so we'll use,
I have
oh,
one question.
okay, go ahead.
For the students who are mastery already, how are you going to extend their learning in this process? I heard about the intervention process for those who need that additional support. How are we supporting those who are already there?
Yeah, as I mentioned a while ago, I have the dream box still continue for that, and then what is it?
And they gonna do this activity to make sure they continue.
Where is it? I forgot.
That's my question.
Yeah,
And then
because
some,
those are leap-like questions.
and then some other recommendations for
Oh,
extending our students is that there's some videos that were shared with me, and it's gonna give you some strategies on how to best teach that standard, so you can go and look up the standard, and there's some corresponding videos that you can look at to see how that person is doing the video. So that's one recommendation, just pushing that standard or pushing through that standard. And then another thing too, to try to find some additional activities for the students that are performing at mastery. We want to make sure that if they're performing at mastery, it's not going to hurt to have a couple of advances at the end of the year. It won't hurt.
yes.
So it'll help, really help. So we just want to make sure if we have students that are able to do now, we want to push them as further as we can go. So do have some videos, some resources that I'm going to share with you that you can start looking at, and it's just like I said, different strategies, different ideas, and then of course Ms. Dickerson is going to share with you in vertical this week just your minute by minute your math pacing in your classroom, and then of course we will, once we have a very stable attendance, Miss Bradley will be pushing in with you.
Yes.
So those are the things we're going to continue to work on.
Yes, ma'am. And I believe there is also, I forgot, in Eureka Math, there is also some activity there. I forgot the file that I can pull out. We have for the intervention for those who are struggling students, and we have also, I think, for those advanced students there.
I'm not sure. I'll look
Yeah,
into
I
it.
will check that as well.
Okay.
Thank you for your question, Miss Dr. Ball.
Don't forget to share this with me in the last.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Ms.